When the Texas power grid collapsed in 2021, families were literally burning their furniture to stay alive. But what if I told you that FEMA has quietly released a survival checklist that could have prevented that desperation, and most people have never heard of it? In the next 12 minutes, you'll discover FEMA's 9 essential winter survival items, plus 3 bonus recommendations that emergency responders actually use. These aren't expensive gadgets or survivalist fantasies. They're simple, affordable tools that transform your home from vulnerable to fortress strong against winter blackouts. Welcome to Prep Pantry, where we turn everyday people into prepared families. If you're ready to protect your loved ones this winter, hit that like button and subscribe for more life-saving preparedness content. Now, let's dive into what could be the most important checklist you'll ever see. Most people think winter emergencies are just about being cold and uncomfortable. They couldn't be more wrong. When your power grid fails during an Arctic blast, your home doesn't slowly get chilly. It becomes a death trap within hours. The insulation that keeps you comfortable in normal times becomes worthless when there's no heat source to maintain it. Let me paint you a picture of what really happens. In Texas, when temperatures dropped and the grid collapsed, families watched their breath fog up inside their own living rooms. Children were crying from the cold, while parents frantically searched for anything that would burn. Some people resorted to running their cars in garages, a deadly mistake that led to carbon monoxide poisoning. Others burned books, furniture, even parts of their walls, creating house fires that emergency services couldn't reach because of ice-covered roads. But here's what the news didn't tell you. The families who survived comfortably weren't the ones with expensive generators or whole house heating systems. They were the families who understood one crucial principle that FEMA has been quietly teaching emergency responders for years. You don't heat the space, you heat the person. FEMA's recent updates to cold weather preparedness represent a complete shift in survival thinking. Instead of fighting a losing battle against physics by trying to warm entire rooms, they focus on keeping your core body temperature stable while creating defensive barriers against heat loss. It's the difference between trying to fill a bucket with holes in it versus plugging the holes first. The science is actually pretty straightforward. Your body generates about 100 watts of heat naturally, roughly the same as a bright light bulb. In normal conditions, your home's insulation helps retain that heat. But when the power dies and temperatures plummet, that same insulation becomes a one-way ticket to hypothermia because there's no external heat source to maintain the system. This is where FEMA's approach becomes brilliant. Instead of fighting against the laws of thermodynamics, they work with them. Their strategy has 3 core pillars: targeted body heat retention, environmental defense through strategic barriers, and sustainable energy systems that don't depend on the grid. Each item on their checklist serves one or more of these functions, creating layers of protection that work together. Now let's dive into FEMA's actual recommendations, starting with personal heat technology. The first item might surprise you: battery-powered heat devices that most people dismiss as gimmicks. But in emergency shelters across the country, rechargeable hand warmers, battery-heated vests, and heating adapters for power tool batteries have become absolute game changers. Here's why they work so well. Instead of trying to heat an entire room, these devices focus on warming your chest, back, and hands, the areas that matter most for maintaining core temperature. A single charged heat pack can provide 4 to 8 hours of targeted warmth, and you can rotate it among family members. Unlike burning furniture or lighting candles, battery-powered heat is completely safe. No smoke, no carbon monoxide, no fire risk. The key is using them strategically. Stock up on rechargeable warmers and extra battery packs before winter hits. Consider investing in a heated vest for extended warmth. They're not just for construction workers anymore. Use these devices under blankets to stretch battery life and amplify their effect. Remember, survival isn't about heating your square footage. It's about heating yourself. The 8th essential item focuses on protecting what matters most: your core temperature. Body warmers, chemical heat patches, and rechargeable heating strips might seem like small potatoes, but they're the difference between maintaining body function and sliding into hypothermia. Emergency medical teams have found that families with access to body warmers stay healthier and avoid serious cold-related illness during extended blackouts. The science here is crucial. Your body will sacrifice your arms, legs, fingers, and toes to keep your vital organs warm. Chemical warmers placed on your chest, lower back, or over your kidneys directly support the areas your body is trying hardest to protect. They interrupt the cascade toward hypothermia before it gets dangerous. Here's how to use them effectively. Stock up on both chemical and rechargeable warmers before winter arrives. Stash them in emergency kits throughout your house, your car, and your workplace. Focus on protecting your core, not just your extremities. Body warmers aren't luxuries. They're survival tools that can mean the difference between staying functional and becoming a liability to your family. Now, let's talk about environmental defense systems. The second item on FEMA's list is what they call fortress blankets. And not all blankets are created equal. Those soft fleece throws that look so cozy, they're nearly useless when the temperature drops and the grid fails. FEMA recommends blankets that trap and hold heat, heavy wool, military-grade synthetics, or rugged thermal layers with dense weaves. A real fortress blanket does much more than keep you warm at night. It can serve as ground cover to prevent heat loss through floors, block drafts from windows and doors, or help section off a room to conserve heat. The key is understanding that these blankets capture pockets of warm air and hold them, providing insulation that actually lasts. Choose substance over style. When the grid fails, your blanket becomes your armor against the cold. But here's where most people make a fatal mistake. They focus on staying warm while completely ignoring the biggest source of heat loss in their home, the windows. The third item on FEMA's list addresses this: thermal window shields. Your windows are literally the enemy in a winter blackout. Glass panes leak heat so rapidly they can turn your home into an icebox within hours. The Department of Energy has confirmed that insulated window covers can reduce heat loss by up to 40%. We're talking about heavy coverings, multi-layer barriers, anything that creates an air gap between the glass and your living space. Old school methods work incredibly well. Quilts, blankets, even newspaper layers taped between cloth and glass create effective thermal barriers. You can make DIY solutions from blankets, foam boards, or reflective insulation. Create panels from cardboard and cloth for extra protection. The key is to install these shields before the blackout hits, when you can still see what you're doing and your hands aren't numb with cold. Think defense first. Protect the glass, and you protect your body. Moving into independent power and sustenance systems, FEMA's fourth recommendation might seem obvious, but most people get it completely wrong. Off-grid radiant heaters powered by propane, kerosene, or catalytic fuel are staples in emergency shelters, but they're not just space heaters. These devices provide infrared warmth that heats your body directly, not just the air around you. This distinction is crucial. When you're trying to survive a blackout, heating air is wasteful because that warm air immediately escapes through every crack, gap, and imperfection in your home's envelope. Radiant heat works like sunlight. It warms whatever it touches directly. Your body absorbs the heat and holds it, making these heaters incredibly efficient for survival situations. Safety is absolutely critical. You must ensure proper ventilation to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. Keep all flammable materials well away from the heater. Choose models with safety features like oxygen depletion sensors and automatic tip-over shutoffs. Stock extra fuel and learn how to use your heater before disaster strikes. In a blackout, off-grid heat isn't a luxury. It's the difference between survival and becoming a casualty to your family. The fifth essential item addresses a threat that's often overlooked: hunger. Not the kind of hunger where you're annoyed because dinner is late, but the kind that weakens you physically and mentally, making it harder to stay warm and think clearly. FEMA emphasizes the critical need for shelf-stable survival meals, freeze-dried packs, MREs, and high-calorie ration bars. These emergency meal kits are designed for exactly this scenario. They don't require refrigeration, and many don't even need cooking. Some can be eaten straight from the bag, while others need only a splash of water. With shelf lives of up to 25 years, they're a reliable lifeline when grocery shelves are empty and delivery trucks can't navigate icy roads. When building your survival pantry, focus on protein-heavy pouches and calorie-rich bars. Your body burns significantly more calories trying to stay warm, so you need dense nutrition, not just filler. Rotate your stock annually to ensure freshness. Store some in a go bag for mobility and others in your basement for long-term emergencies. Remember, emergency food isn't about taste. It's about providing the energy your body needs to generate heat and maintain function.
The sixth item brings us back to basics in the best way possible. Old school oil lamps. When the lights go out, most people immediately reach for flashlights and start draining their phone batteries. But these modern solutions fail quickly, leaving you in dangerous darkness. Kerosene lamps provide steady, reliable light for 10 to 20 hours on a single fill. But here's what makes them truly valuable for winter survival. They also provide a small amount of warmth and can be used for cooking simple meals.
A steady lamp flame cuts through both physical and psychological darkness. When you're sitting in a cold, dark house, that warm glow maintains morale and keeps your family's spirits intact while you wait for dawn or rescue. Safety protocols are non-negotiable. Keep lamps well away from curtains, papers, and any flammable materials. Ensure adequate ventilation to prevent carbon monoxide buildup. Store fuel safely in approved containers away from heat sources. The light and warmth from a kerosene lamp can mean the difference between hope and despair during a long, cold night. The seventh essential item completes your independence from the failed grid, a survival-grade multi-fuel stove. When your kitchen dies, this becomes your lifeline to hot food and warm drinks. These stoves are engineered to run on multiple fuel types: propane, kerosene, butane, white gas, or even natural materials like twigs and small wood scraps. FEMA recommends non-electric cooking sources because hot food does more than fill your stomach. It boosts morale and keeps you fighting. Cold food straight from a can drains both physical energy and mental resilience. There's something primal about gathering around a flame to cook and eat together. It maintains the human rituals that keep families intact during crisis. Choose a stove that accepts multiple fuel types so you're never stuck with just one option. Learn to use it safely before you need it, including proper ventilation techniques. Keep extra fuel on hand, stored according to manufacturer guidelines. Don't wait until you're shivering over uncooked food to figure out how your stove works. Fire doesn't just cook your meals, it keeps the human spirit alive. Now let's talk about the 3 game-changing bonus items that can elevate your winter survival system from good to bulletproof. The first bonus item focuses on protecting your extremities: emergency hand and foot warmers. Your fingers, toes, and nose are the first casualties in extreme cold, and when they go, everything else becomes infinitely harder. Cold extremities aren't just uncomfortable, they're dangerous. When your fingers are numb, you can't grip tools, operate your stove, or even open emergency supplies. When your toes are frozen, walking becomes treacherous, making it impossible to move safely or help others. Frostbite can turn a survivable night into a medical emergency that could cost you fingers or toes. Emergency hand and foot warmers are small, lightweight, and can provide 6 to 12 hours of targeted heat. Some are reusable and reactivate with a simple click. Others are chemical-based and provide intense heat for extended periods. Keep extras in your emergency bag, your car, and scattered throughout your house. Rotate your stock annually to ensure they'll work when you need them. Combine warmers with heavy socks, insulated gloves, and layered clothing for maximum effectiveness. The second bonus item addresses a hidden danger that kills people in winter emergencies: isolation. Your phone isn't just a convenience during a blackout. It's your lifeline to emergency services, weather updates, and family coordination. A compact solar battery charger ensures you can keep communication devices, flashlights, and even small heaters powered for days or weeks. Modern solar chargers are remarkable pieces of technology. They're foldable, lightweight, and work even on cloudy days. Paired with high-capacity battery packs, they provide continuous, renewable energy that doesn't depend on fuel supplies or the electrical grid. This isn't just about staying entertained. It's about maintaining situational awareness and the ability to call for help if someone gets hurt or conditions become life-threatening. Use solar chargers with multiple battery banks and USB hubs to power various devices. Limit non-essential device use during blackouts to conserve power for emergencies. Charge all devices before nightfall and rotate batteries to ensure you always have backup power available. Remember, isolation multiplies every other danger you face. A charged phone keeps you connected to the outside world and can literally save your life. The third and final bonus item gives you the ultimate flexibility: emergency shelter materials that let you create micro-environments within your home. When your house loses heat, you can't warm the whole structure, but you can create heated pockets that focus warmth exactly where your family needs it. Emergency shelter materials include thick tarps, heavy-duty plastic sheeting, rope, duct tape, and collapsible poles. With these simple tools, you can hang tarps to create temporary walls, drape plastic sheets over windows for extra insulation, or build a small tent inside your living area. Combined with blankets and body warmers, you create thermal pockets that can maintain livable temperatures even when the rest of your house is freezing. This isn't theoretical. Emergency responders regularly use these techniques to create survivable spaces in damaged buildings. The key is having the materials ready and knowing how to deploy them quickly. Include tarps, rope, and duct tape in your emergency kit. Keep foldable poles for instant setup. Train your entire household to deploy shelter materials rapidly, because in a real emergency, every minute counts. Here's how all these elements work together to create a complete winter survival system. You start with body warmers and thermal bottles to protect your core temperature. This is your foundation. Add fortress blankets and window shields to insulate your environment and stop heat loss. Use fuel-powered heaters and multi-fuel stoves to provide warmth and hot food. Keep emergency meal kits and extra water supplies readily available. Ensure reliable lighting and communication with oil lamps and solar chargers. Finally, prepare shelter materials to create microclimates when your home's heating system fails completely.
But here's something crucial that most survival guides ignore: the psychological component. Winter survival isn't just physical, it's mental and emotional. Darkness, hunger, and cold don't just threaten your body, they erode morale, discipline, and the will to keep fighting. Families fall apart not because they freeze, but because they give up hope. This is why steady light from oil lamps matters so much. Why hot food from your emergency stove is about more than calories. Why reliable communication through charged devices keeps spirits up. These elements maintain the human connections and daily routines that keep families functioning as a team instead of descending into panic and despair. The items on FEMA's checklist work together to preserve not just life, but the quality of life that makes survival worthwhile. When you can provide light, warmth, food, and communication for your family, you become the leader they need instead of another person they have to worry about. Don't wait for the first snowstorm or blackout warning to start preparing. Stock up on these essentials now, while stores have inventory and prices are reasonable. Train your household in emergency procedures before stress and cold make learning difficult. Rotate supplies annually to ensure everything works when you need it. The items FEMA recommends are affordable, practical, and many might already be in your home waiting to be organized into a proper survival system. FEMA's checklist isn't about panic or paranoia. It's about smart, strategic preparation based on decades of experience and real-world disasters. By focusing on core warmth, reliable food and water, safe lighting, and layered insulation, you transform your home from a vulnerable target into a fortress against winter's worst. Remember the fundamental principle that drives everything. You don't fight the elements with brute force. You defend against them with intelligence, preparation, and the right tools deployed at the right time. Heat yourself, insulate your environment, stay connected to the outside world, and maintain the human spirit that keeps families together when everything else falls apart. With FEMA's 12-item winter survival system in place, you'll be ready for whatever winter throws your way. Your family will look to you not with fear, but with confidence, knowing that you've prepared them to not just survive, but to thrive even when the grid fails and the cold closes in. If this video helped you understand what real winter preparedness looks like, hit that like button and subscribe to Prep Pantry for more life-saving preparedness content. Drop a comment and let me know which items surprised you most, or share your own winter survival experiences. Until next time, stay prepared, stay safe, and remember, the best time to prepare for winter is before you need to.